Yo, what's going on, everybody? What up, what up? Here we are, another Wednesday, another financial update. It's interesting times. Interesting times. We just got approved for a 75-point basis rate hike. We are now at the same interest rate we were sitting at the time of the '08 crash. And another update on the crude oil strategic petroleum reserves. Yo, let's dig in. Yo, crypto nation and mining family, what's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, all you happy hashers out there? I see you got one like already. Definitely, guys, as you come sliding on in here, don't forget to smash that lizardy like button, subscribe if you're new here, and of course, share this out on your favorite social media. Because I'm not on any of them, really. Seriously, I'm not. All right, what is going on, all you happy people? What up? Who is it? Who you think? What's going on? Rude, my man. What's going on? What's up? What's up? So, let's go ahead and dive right on into today's juicy tidbits of what's going on. What the hell's going on with markets today? Yo. So here we are, guys. I was actually wanting to be on this page here. So the Fed approves a 75-point hike and takes us, again, like I said, to the 2008 and hints at changing its policy ahead, guys. So the Federal Reserve basically raised it 0.75%. We are now just a little over 4% interest rate. Will be the highest level since January of 2008, whenever the housing market bubble popped and sent the economy into turmoil. And at that time, they basically just kicked the can down the street, saying that, we're going to go ahead and do quantitative easing, which they were making the means of capital cheaper to obtain for the ultra wealthy people on Wall Street. Because this was all done in lieu of making sure bankers in Wall Street stayed profitable the whole time at the expense of the working class people. So unfortunately, me and you, as the working class, took the fucking hit on this one, and we got to bail out Wall Street and the banks for making bad bets. Yeah, just let that sink in. They're doing it some more, but in a whole different way. So they've basically been doing quantitative tightening, trying to get the inflation genie back into the bottle, guys. This is going to be something that I think is going to be a very bold step, and it would require some short-term pain for long-term gains. So I mean, it's like I would sit there and say that in order to really do this, they would need to do what was done back in the 80s, guys, where they raised interest rates far beyond what the inflation was to put it under control. And then they're so afraid of just doing that because they don't want businesses to get wiped out, because let's just be real about it. These motherfuckers are invested into those very businesses that they're trying to protect. So they would rather sit there and destroy the working class so that the rich oligarchs don't have to say that they fucked up once again. Because back in '08, bankers made bad bets on the housing market, and they were willing to give loans out to any Tom, Dick, and Harry out there. If you had a fucking a pulse, they'd give you a house loan. This has a double-edged sword, because now you're giving people who might not otherwise be qualified for a house, you're giving them a house. And then whenever they fuck up because they're living on razor edge means, that takes a hit into the bank. Now, they did that a whole bunch of times, and then they subsidized loans out to investors. So now they had over leverage going on to these very same bank notes for these houses. And all it took was 19% of the housing market to pop. And that's what 2008 crash going into 2009 was all about. And now we're fast forwarding into now where they've been basically just giving out free capital. Even if you made a bad bet, it didn't cost you much to make a bad bet at this point. And now we have the UN stepping in, talking about the Fed hike rates that's been going on, because a lot of people don't understand what the US dollar really does. What up, Crypto Nico? A lot of people don't understand what the US dollar actually is. We are off because we don't have a means of production. Everybody else has got the means of production. We are sitting here offloading our cheap, useless dollars and buying as much things with value with it. Because if we buy stuff with value real quickly and people don't realize that we just fucked them, then our dollar automatically has value because it's backed by things, right? Stuff and things. And because these other countries are now over leveraged in those same very dollars, now they're fucked. Anytime that the US dollar becomes more expensive to grab, these other countries that need to take loans out are now having to pay a higher percentage rate. So look at the first domino to fall, guys. The very first domino to fall was Britain. Boris Johnson resigns as the prime minister. Queen Elizabeth passing away right after. Right before she passes away, she appoints a new prime minister. She lasts but a month and quits. And in the process of all of that, they're already on quantitative easing. They are already going, nope, we can't do that. This all corresponded at the same time as the U.S. Jerome Powell trying to increase rates, because this means that the means of grabbing newly printed dollars is going to cost Britain more money, and they cannot subsidize any further to grab more dollars. So the only thing that they can do in response to all of this is print more of their currency, which is going to further crash the British pound against the dollar. Yo, what up, Crypto Badoo? So the United States is like, oh, whatever, we're just suck out all the value out of Britain. That's ours now, right? But you got to remember, these are also global partners. Yeah, then go buy rubles. Yeah, exactly. And that's the reason why Russia is breaking away from the U.S. dollar, is that with all these sanctions that have been put on to Russia, their economy is doing pretty damn good. China has become one of the number one U.S. seller of bonds. China used to be the number one purchaser of U.S. bonds. So we're seeing this all going into the other direction now. So it's like as more of these countries get wise to what's going on and they start offloading all these U.S. dollar debt notes, it's basically going to turn the U.S. into a third world country. We'll go from a powerhouse to, well, we're already teetering a second class world power. I wouldn't even consider us a world class superpower anymore. I think that China is actually is the superpower right now, unfucking fortunately. And our government is so worried about trade relations with China and making sure that everything is good with China, and Chinese businesses are able to get these cheap, easy dollars from us. It's going to further cause issues with the global economy on this. And whenever they're sitting there flooding, the U.S. is basically just flooding the market with dollars, is what they're doing now. But now with the 75-point basis, a 0.75% raise in percentage for new loans, you might not think that's a whole lot. But now this is going to be adding on top of the inflation that me and you see. So yes, there's inflation, and inflation's due to the money printing. But whenever they start increasing taxation on that money, because they're trying to put the cap on that genie bottle, it makes all the goods and services that are denominated in those dollars go through the fucking roof, because no company is going to sit there and absorb a cost of doing business hike. They're going to pass that off onto the customer. The consumer is always the one that's going to feel the brunt of that. So unfortunately, Britain is one of our consumers of our dollars. So as we start increasing this, we're going to see smaller countries that are dependent on our dollars start crashing out like this. UN is already bitching at the United States government to cease the height rakes, that just keep everything right where it's at from this point on, because we are negatively impacting the other countries. You want to know why? Because we've basically flooded the economy with so many dollars. I mean, let's just take from the point of view of the money that the stimulus shit that they were giving out to everybody in the country, right? This made an artificial demand on supplies, with nobody producing any value. This was going to basically do a supply shock, and everything would contract in on itself. And now we're seeing the negative effects of that. That now the means of production with all the new dollars in there, it's now being priced in. It's the same thing with whenever I was talking about them trying to make student loan forgiveness, right? Basically, they give the students $10,000, and suddenly tuition goes up $10,000. These things are directly correlated, and I just see, it's like I was sitting there saying, when are they going to start doing this in other industries? Basically, at this point, the only other arsenal they have in their bags at this point, because if they continue to print money, it's going to burn out the economy. And if the economy burns out from where it's at right now, we're probably looking at a 10 to maybe 20-year Great Depression. 10 years minimum if it burns out right now, because there's not enough liquidity in the market to support every man, woman, and child, even in the United States, because we have no means of fucking production. This is an issue. And just to top off that issue, it's like our government has directly shot its energy independence right in the fucking foot, and that's where this is showing in. Now we're looking at an all-time low for the past 50 fucking years, guys. We are at 399.79 million barrels of crude oil. We are already looking at a potential of a diesel shortage. All your goods are traveled across the country utilizing diesel, guys. Let that sink in. There's not, because of the fact that our government has made it their duty to fucking completely wage war against energy independence. Because, using Saudi Arabia oil or using Venezuela oil is somehow cleaner than the oil that we can produce here in our own country. Yes, some of the ways of us producing oil in our own country, like the fracking industry, I'm not too happy about. But in times like this, you do what you got to do in order to make sure that the country that you live in is self-efficient and can survive any turmoil that the world goes through. The way that our government has set itself up, since Biden got in office, is it's been an outright war on the U.S. economy. I do not understand why that they are trying to sit there and just slaughter. Man, I don't know, Mikkel. I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. Unstoppable domains. Mikkel's trying to make a Family Mine website. I know that we're going to need this. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to talk. So many options. Ugh. But you know, it's like I was getting at, like .com been taken for a while now. I fucking bet. I bet. But like I was talking about here, before I started, I know. Yes, Mikkel. Squirrel. He's sitting here privately messaging me in Discord, if you guys didn't know. So with the we're under 400 million barrels of oil now. Means of production going across the country is going to start going up, because there's a lot of industries that are very dependent on oil production, whether it be diesel, you know, like for farming, you know, tractors run on diesel. A lot of semi trucks run on diesel, you know, like all of them. So if you want to order something from across the here's another good one too. Boats, shipping vessels run on diesel. Airplanes run on diesel. So like, you catch the picture here. If they keep on doing this and depleting it down to the point where there's no more oil left, they're going to basically bankrupt America. It's almost like they're trying to turn America into the new third world country. We're like, hey, we're having a race to the bottom. Who wants to race us there? It's like, okay, are you trying to like make this like worse than Cuba? Because that's the direction in which you're going right now. Because once you make it to where every person is 100% reliant on the government, we're in a bad place, guys. Financially, like, you won't own your own house. Your house will be owned by the government, because that'll be the only way that they can get a loan to subsidize anything they're doing. They have to own everything. Japan does that. Once Japan owned everything, their economy flatlined. China, same thing. Chinese government, the CCP basically owns the means of production. Except that with the means of production that China owns, they basically they're not dictating from the government how to run the business. Where Japan, they tell people how they can run their business. So now you see two different models of where two different countries took an approach of controlling the means of production, right? This is why they favor the Chinese way of doing it, because they basically took over the means of production, but allowed people the system would reward partially those who did well, right? Your overachievers got rewarded. Not always. It's not a perfect system, but this is the system that they're going to want to implement here. I think that's the way that I would look at it, is that they're looking at trying to control means of production break all these companies down to where the government prints a certain amount of money. They put these fucking companies all into junk bonds. Now the government owns a portion of each one of these fucking shit businesses. You see how this one goes now. Now you own a percentage of production. Now you can tell them, hey, you got to do X, Y, and Z, or you don't get any more money. Dan Flowing, do not want to emulate China at all. No, not at all. I do not advocate for this bullshit at all. Anytime that the government, like 9 words you never want to hear. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Because you know you're fucked. And that's basically what the government's gonna do to each one of these businesses. At least that's what it seems like they're trying to do. And that's what China and Japan both fucking did. To control the means of production. When the government controls the means of production, a lot of times you stifle innovation. You stop competition in the market. Because the government's gonna be like, you can't do this too. We only allow one of these businesses to do that. So now you stop innovation. Maybe this other company would have came in and been more efficient. Might have brought in a new flair to that industry that had never been seen before. But because, the government owns means of production, they can go, not going to happen. You don't have our blessing. So yeah, it's a fucking issue whenever the government gets involved with anything. And the government sitting there and stopping the oil industry from tapping into areas that are rich in oil to give us oil independence so that we can go to China and buy Russian oil. It's like, what the fuck is that? Our government's having a fucking crusade with Russia, sending billions of dollars to fucking to the Ukraine, so that we can fucking try to get Russia into a fucking nuclear war with us, because that'll fucking help. I don't understand what our government is fucking trying to do right now, but it is not in the best interest of us, the people. And I hope on November 8th here, if you haven't done so, get out there and fucking vote. Fucking vote, guys. It's like, I can't stress this enough. God, I want to say like 91, 92, something like that. The House and Senate fucking flipped red. Why? Because we were coming out of a fucking horrible fucking economy. What happens when we come out of a horrible fucking economy? We have a Republican red wave that comes through the country. And the Republicans go, stop spending here, stop spending here, stop spending over here, stop spending here. We don't need this shit. The hell are you doing over here? And they get the economy back on track. Not saying that the fucking Republicans are perfect. By any means, they're not. Okay? I live in a fucking very democratically blue state of Illinois. I do not classify myself as a Democrat in any way, shape, or form. I identify as more of a conservative. People who believe in people. It's like I believe in the law of the land and the law of the people. And the law of the people is by the people, for the people, with the people. And I think the government has really kind of lost that attachment of that they should be looking at the people and not the fucking corporations that bought them out. I wish that they would sit, these politicians would just sit there and they had to wear a jersey. And on this jersey, it had all the corporations that bought them out. I'm just saying, we need to have them having like sport jackets so we know exactly whose interest in mind they have, and we'll see how many of them have places like companies like Lockheed Martin, war, because let's put it this way, since the 90s. I don't remember a time where the United States government didn't have a war or a conflict going on at all times. And this is just a way to fucking siphon money out of the fucking system. We need to fucking send a message to the government that they need to be fucking smaller, because they're the ones that are fucking all of this up. Has nothing to do with fucking Putin. Why shit's going fucked up and sideways here in the United States. Has nothing to do with fucking Ukraine. Has nothing to do with fucking Europe. Has nothing to do with Australia, fucking Asia, anything. What's happening here in the United States is a fucking self-inflicted wound by the U.S. government, pushing out all the means of production, period, out of the country, and thinking that we can be money printers with no production. It's like, I'm sorry, but you got a few million people living here in the United States that needs to be producing value in order for the government to be able to even exist. They just like Twitter, the government has way too many employees, way too many layers in it, and it became so inefficient that it just bleeds money in the wrong way. It's like they need one of us to go through and budget them. Why do we have these 12 people here? Isn't their job? Isn't these 14 other people over here doing their job? Why are we paying them still? I guarantee you there's fucking redundancy in there like this, where they've made a committee, and then they made an oversight committee on that one, and then they made an oversight committee of the oversight committee, so that, you know, fucking all their little buddies and chummies fucking had a job and got paid. Because I'll tell you this, the real gangsters are in the government. It's like, this is the shit that like kind of grinds my gears, right? It is the manipulation of you know, the energy and of the free market, manipulating interest rates. That is manipulating market. Pumping in money. That is manipulating the market, because you're sending up false signals into the market. And then with the height rate that is coming in. Jerome Powell has already hinted that they will not be doing too much more quantitative tightening. That means the only thing they can fall back on is they've just basically nudged it, and they're ready to fucking do quantitative easing on a fucking snap notice. He wants to say, oh, well, we're going to keep on going. Dude, they're at like 425% percent interest. Inflation's fucking that they want to admit to is 8.2. This is what they're admitting to. Real inflation is just under 50% inflation. They're hitting way off the mark, guys. It is going to be teeter-tottering from this point on, and I hope everybody has their life jacket. I hope you have your full Bitcoin, even a partial Bitcoin, because once the economy collapses, basically Bitcoin's going to stay the same price, guys. Bitcoin's going to be here, and the dollar is going to fucking tank in value. And as it comes down, that split that you see between Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin in denominated dollars, that's how much it lost value compared to Bitcoin. That's basically what we're watching in real time, is the US dollar losing the war against Bitcoin. Just saying. And you can see that it's like in so many different markets and everything, that things are being heavily manipulated. And it's kind of interesting to actually sit there and really kind of talk about that. Because like we can come over into some of the charts here, and with the chart being here, what we're looking at here is actually the NASDAQ. I know some people don't realize what it's like. The top 100 mini futures and stuff like that. So these are many. It's like a basket of goods, right? So if you come to the left side of this, and you see this first real deep V down here, this is 2018. 2018 and 2018 and coming into 2019. This is right when the banks started changing their loans. So a lot of times you can tell when the economy is doing good, because when the economy is doing good, banks will give loans to anybody. When the economy starts doing shitty, and it usually happens between 6 months to 9 months before the economy really sees it, the banks start tightening up their requirements for getting loans, right? So as you see the market tank a little bit, loans get harder to grab. You have to have your 20% down. So you have to be in the AAA prime loans section in order to get a loan, which would make sense. This would be your perfect loan agreement. 20% down, and means of value are equal to or above the value of the loan, right? So they basically have enough money to fucking pay for it, is basically what I'm saying. Then when you come back into this, you see this second one right here. This is the COVID lockdown here. So this right here, guys, this right here, this is COVID. And let me go ahead and get rid of that. I'll remove. So that's COVID lockdowns, economy tanked. They did a whole bunch of money printing. The money printing, artificial, deep flying V on there, and pumped it up, right? And then you start getting into it. Now, right after the pump, it comes up so high, creates a peak right here, and then makes a low down here. This is it, the money printing running out of steam. And whenever they cut the money off, it was like the well came off, a market bounced because they were expecting more. It's like a drug addict, right? Then they turn the spigot off on them. Market recovers from it. You have your it's like the economy had gotten fed a whole bunch of heroin, and then it got cut off, got dope sick, tried to they did a little bit of quantitative easing. It's like giving a heroin addict just a little bit more, just to get them along so it doesn't hurt so bad. And then they stopped it again, it crashed. They gave it a little bit more, and it seemed to be okay because they just gave it just a little bit. Sometimes a little hair of the dog, as they would say, right? Oop, I didn't want to do that. Okay, so started coming back into here. This is where they started looking at. They started announcing that they were going to do quantitative tightening, right? So they were talking about it. Market kind of corrected out. The quantitative tightening came in. Everybody's like, "Oh, okay. At least it wasn't a full percent." They were hoping that it was going to be 0.5%. When it came in, that it was 0.75%. It kind of hit itself a little bit, bounced back up here, because like the market can absorb that. That's the beauty of the free market. It will absorb interest rate hikes. It just takes a little bit of time. It'll be a little correction. People get a little scared. Wall Street's like little frail animals that the slightest fart will scare them. And then you see the market kind of take this peak. Now, this is them sitting there doing the second interest rate hike here. And ever since then, the economy's kind of been like for shit. It traded sideways a little bit, and then we've been in a basic free fall. And this is a perfect dead cat bounce here, guys. We have it comes down and bounces and then wraps back down. This is a classic dead cat bounce, fellas. And we get ourselves a double dead cat bounce here. It is going down, guys. If they don't sit there and basically turn this around, you almost would think that this, basically all the gains that happened in this last year, because this here, let's see here, I'm going to take this and Gonna go like this all the way over here, right? So we just wiped out all the fucking gains. Actually, a little more than just a little of the gains, right? If I put this right onto the bottom instead of the wick, and I'm off the bottom, no wick down here. So down here, we just wiped out all the gains from this year, guys. Every bit of it. So from September of 2020 all the way to now, every bit of the gains are gone. 2 years worth of gains, basically. Bye-bye. 2 fucking years worth of gains. All of that gains are gone. Kind of reminds me of that sweet Visity Bitcoin, guys. I mean, we can go into that into the Bitcoin chart here, and go into the Bitcoin chart here, and we can sit there and say, the charts look awfully similar, except that we had a double top on Bitcoin. We were blessed with a double top, where they were not in with the Nasdaq. So let's see here. Where is edit? No. Okay, so way back here. So let me grab way back here. This is COVID right here, guys. You can see Bitcoin did not wipe out all the COVID gains, but we wiped out 2 years worth of gains also. So we are Bitcoin is in no difference than the Nasdaq. So people trying to say that there's no correlation between Bitcoin and traditional finance, they need to look at the charts a little bit better. A lot of what usually one's a lagging indicator for the other. So if you get cheap capital, people usually dump their investments and go into the cheap capital, wait for the capital get strengthened, and then they buy the cheap. They use the higher valuation of the dollar and go back into the cheaper assets. So they sell expensive assets for cheap dollars, and then they take expensive dollars and trade that for cheap assets. It's a vicious little cycle. It doesn't matter what market you're in, you're always going to see somebody. If it's an investable trade, somebody's going to do it. So with that being said, we are basically in the same boat as a lot of these other, big investments that anybody else would be getting into. Gold's taken a hit. The only one that really hasn't has been silver. Silver has been kind of holding the line. Just be like, we are going to stay at $20 per ounce right here. But you got to think that silver hasn't hit its all-time high of $50 an ounce since the early 80s. We're talking like 42 years since silver has seen its all-time high. Does that make it a good value investment? Probably not. Unfortunately, as much as I like, silver is cool and everything, I own some silver. It's not a very useful store of value, in my opinion. Gold would be better, but gold hasn't been holding its store of value as of lately. It has been taking its fair share of knocks. Bitcoin still outperforming gold hand over fist in the past 12 13 years. So there is that. And talking about some price action, we know that Elon Musk has taken over Twitter, has fired some people, and then is now giving into the woke culture. So he's going to make a committee of diversification to consider who should be unbanned, which means that nothing's going to fucking change. Twitter is going to be status quo, and it's going to be, exactly how it is a cesspool of censorship. Congratulations, Elon. You haven't changed anything. Everybody was having high hopes for Elon fucking coming in and making Twitter a better space for everybody's voice to be heard. Obviously not. Whatever. It is what it is. I don't care anymore. It's not like I can use it anyway. I got banned off of there for fucking, free speech. But whatever. But I digress. Elon Musk has been hinting at NFTs being traded on Twitter. Now teases about a Dogecoin integration for Twitter. So careful with all of that, guys. I would definitely be careful. It's been, anytime that Elon tweets positively about Doge goes up in price. So needless to say, Doge has been doing pretty good, I guess. It is it back into the top 10 now? Yeah, Doge is back into the top 10 at 12 cents per Doge. Has been consistently going up since the acquisition of Elon, because everybody's anticipating that, Papa Elon's gonna save Doge. I wouldn't hold my breath on there. Doge is one bad Elon tweet away from crashing. That is my opinion on there. But with that being said, Elon, please keep on tweeting about it, because you are making Doge, the mini Doges, kind of profitable. So, woo! Dogecoin is profitable to mine with Litecoin right now. I'm just saying. So if you've got yourself a mini Doge or a other various Litecoin miners, congratulations. You should be doing pretty decent unless you're in Hawaii or California. It's like, we want Trump back on Twitter. Elon said he would do it. I mean, considering, it's like for what he got taken off of Twitter for was some bullshit. Elon said he was willing to put him back on, but I don't know if Trump will come back on to Twitter, because he's got Truth Social now. So it's hard. And Trump's like, I don't want to use that. I got Truth Social. And Truth Social is all right. It is a vast echo chamber for his hardcore followers, which is fine for his hardcore followers. I'm not even going to sit there and be like, these are ultra MAGA. No. These are just his hardcore team. These are Trump, diehard Trump, right? And then you come out on the Twitter, you got those who hate Trump. Those are those people who are like, meh, Trump. Those people who do like Trump, but they're not on Truth Social because they don't want to use Truth Social. They only want to be on one platform. And then you have those people who are like, love him or hate him, he's all right. I don't really care. You get all different kinds of walks on Twitter versus Truth Social. Where Truth Social people are there to hear what Trump's got to say, which is fine. Absolutely fine. I won't even knock on any of those people. I've talked to those people. They want the same things I want. Secure borders, low crime, no more fucking fentanyl in the goddamn streets. I just had a fucking buddy of mine die from fentanyl overdose in fucking in Arizona. That is fucking bullshit. Yeah, I get a little heated on that one. I'm kind of pissed. Yes, I know that my buddy had a little bit of a drug addiction. I get it. But he doesn't deserve to die because he fucking decided to go pick up a bag of coke. It's like, since when are we going to put fucking heavy sedatives into the cocaine and fucking kill people? I would like to do certain things and say some things that would get me personally banned off of fucking YouTube. So I'm not gonna go there. It's like, but it's, you know, it's like, I mean, we all want the same fucking things. We want our property to be safe. We want to be able to put food on our fucking table. I mean, we want to be safe and have food, a roof over our head, and fucking electricity, goddamn it, and energy. So it's like the government trying to inhibit that is basically trying to commit economical suicide at this point. Why they're trying to do this makes no sense. I don't even see the game plan behind this of what the landscape that they're trying to push. They're trying to kill people. Well, they're going to do it. You know, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Whatever. You know, there's no way we can fucking stop that unless, you know, you talk about civil war. But, you know, it's like, are you trying to produce a civil war or at the very least, a civil divorce where, you know, red states and blue states divide and you no longer have the civil union of the United States and the United States breaks off into individual countries, you know. It'd be a very interesting landscape moving forward with a lot of this stuff. And a lot of this stuff has disastrous effects for us working people, right? Because this is going to cause prices to inflate through, you know, to go skyrocket. I'm not even going to say inflate. It's going to cause it to skyrocket because the means of production are going to be astronomical because we're going to have individual areas starting up production from scratch. And when you got a company that's starting from absolute scratch, expect everything to be a little bit more expensive. So I see a lot of different directions of what could happen, but I don't see the end goal of what the Democrats are trying to push into the agenda of the United States. Okay, I understand the green agenda, but there's more than that. They're basically going to slaughter all the businesses out. What's replacing them? That's my question. How are you replacing means of production? That's my only question. I can care less on how, you know, if they want to sit there and pull the grenade on the economy. Be like, okay, you're going to pull the grenade on the economy. What are you rebuilding it with? You have building materials over there? Because I don't see any. So sometimes you have to do a complete demolition to rebuild something. You know, take an old decrepit building that is well beyond code, demo it down and put a new modern building back into its place that is a functional, usable place, right? You take that whole mindset, well, where's the building materials that our government has to replace the economy that they're trying to grenade? And they're grenading it at the expense of us. They want to sit there and be like, oh, we got to be inclusive. It's like, fuck being inclusive. Your bottom fucking 12% of people you're going to fucking kill. Your bad policies are going to kill the bottom 12%. That is Hispanic, black, white. You know, every culture is in that bottom 12%. It doesn't matter if you are green with purple polka dots. If you are in that bottom 12%, this is going to fucking kill you. So I have issues with how they, you know, this little grenade of the economy is, with absolutely no recourse of rebuilding. So the only thing that we can do on our end at this point, you know, this is what we got to do. Me and you, we got to be preppers. So all those preppers we were making fun of, oh God, haha, you're burying storage containers in the ground and putting food in there. Yeah, we should have probably been doing that too, maybe. They might not, they don't sound so crazy right now. I'm just saying. Those fucking doomsday preppers might have been on to something. You know, having drinkable water, some shelf-stable food, shelter, means of production locally right there. Now, I don't know if we're going to get to that point, but man, if they keep depleting the oil reserves, we will be. So, yeah, it's interesting times that we unfortunately get to live in. And we get to see how this planned destruction of the economy is going to work out for us. The only thing that I can do on my end, and that I would, recommend everybody else doing, is do the research, get into your lifeboat vessel. For me, that is Bitcoin. I don't know what your guy, Bitcoin, gold, and silver. Those are my lifeboats. Why? Because Bitcoin, as long as the internet's there, I can spend my Bitcoin. If not, I've got my gold and silver, and that's better than money, because it is money. It's God's money. Yo. What up, Golden Wolf? What up, what up? So, we are almost at that 1 hour mark, guys. So, definitely, if you guys got any questions or comments at all, definitely hit me up. Drop some comments or questions. While you're doing that, definitely smash that Lizzie like button, guys. I hope you enjoy these Wednesday, these kind of financial Wednesdays. Kind of get to be able to pick my brain, pull that knowledge out of my head, kind of lay it out before you of what my analytics of what goes through my head. I'm not going to sit there and tell you how to trade, when to get in the market. You want to see that stuff? Go hit up my boy Jay the Weatherman over on DCA Adventure, and he can give you the short-term macros on stuff. I'm giving people the long term. I want people to zoom the fuck out of what they're looking at. Stop looking so isolated, because when you look really isolated on a problem, it gets really big. But when you zoom out, you see that either the problem is small or you see the direction for the solution. Just saying. This works in all facets of life, whether you're trading, whether you're investing, whatever you're doing. Zoom the fuck out. Attack it from that venue. See it from a different lens. And that's basically what I'm doing for you guys. It's helping you see it from a totally different lens. Knowing that, we all know that the government's fucking, it doesn't matter, input government here, and that's the government that you're seeing manipulating the world. Every government's fucking doing it. They're all colluding with each other. This is not conspiracy theory when you can sit there and literally see the data for yourself. All right. Well, I don't see anybody with any comments or questions. It is at that 1 hour mark, guys. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Definitely like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good shit. If you are new here, got links down below, guys. Certainly join the Discord. It is free, guys. It's one of the few things in life that's still free. That's, free speech, and you can go into the Discord, and as long as you're respectful, you get free speech. Just be respectful about your free speech. Nothing like over the top. I've banned a few people, like 2, in the whole time that I've been doing this, 5-ish years. Only because, they go on the attack. I'm cool about having a discussion. I'm all cool about having a disagreement. Don't attack people. No, not that I won't work. I won't stand up for. But we can do a lot of shit talking and shit and stuff like that in there. I'm cool with that. You can shit talk. It's okay. you can talk about shit coins and all that stuff. We're a very open-minded community of awesome people. Love to have you all part of it. If you are here and you'd like to donate to the channel or something like that, I do have Patreon links down below. If you would like to also get hosted at the Family Mine and have me and my boy Mikkel host your mining gear, certainly check us out. We have a link of the Patreon down below. He's working on a website that I'll be able to send you guys to very soon, guys. Soon. It's like, but in the Patreon, if you get into the pseudo hasher tier, that's our VIP tier, there is a little perk that goes along with it. But once we open up our doors, that perk goes away. So early adopters will be the only ones with this perk. And I'm not going to tell you what the perk is, because you got to join the Patreon in order to know. So with that being said, guys, thank you all for being here. You guys are all awesome. You rock. Peace out. And of course, stay savage. Yo!